But strangely, some of the key people who participated on January 6th have not been charged. Look at the document. The government calls those people unindicted co-conspirators. What does that mean? Well, it means that in potentially every single case, they were FBI operatives. Really, in the Capitol on January 6th. For example, one of those unindicted co-conspirators is someone government documents identify only as Person 2. According to those documents, Person 2 stayed in the same hotel room as a man called Thomas Caldwell, an insurrectionist, a man alleged to be a member of the group the Oath Keepers.
Our good friend over at Fox News, Tucker Carlson, the intrepid Tucker Carlson, the frequently bow-tied Tucker Carlson, had an absolutely fantastic segment last night. Now, he went just a hair farther than I would go with the claims he made, but not much farther than I would go. Tucker looked at a piece from Revolver News. If you don't know Revolver News, I want you to spend as much time at the Western Journal as possible, but you can check out Revolver News too. Tucker's a big fan, says that they've done some of the best reporting on this. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't spent a lot of time there, but they did a fantastic in-depth set of reporting on what has happened with indictments since January 6th. And what Revolver found out was that there were a significant number of people who were involved in the insurrection, the protest, the riot, whatever you want to call it, the incursion, whatever you want to call it. There were a significant number of people involved in that, and not only just involved, who were organizers of it, who have so far been unindicted. And in fact, many of them have not yet been identified. And what Revolver found was absolutely striking. We've got about a 2-minute clip from Tucker that sets this up. I want to roll that, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we've got another clip to further substantiate. Let's roll that first clip of Tucker.
An answer to some of these questions. We know that the government is hiding the identity of many law enforcement officers who were present at the Capitol on January 6th, not just the one who killed Ashley Babbitt. According to the government's own court filings, those law enforcement officers participated in the riot, sometimes in violent ways. We know that because, without fail, the government has thrown the book at most people who are present in the Capitol on January 6th. There was a nationwide dragnet to find them, and many of them are still in solitary confinement tonight. But strangely, some of the key people who participated on January 6th have not been charged. Look at the document. The government calls those people unindicted co-conspirators. What does that mean? Well, it means that in potentially every single case, they were FBI operatives. Really, in the Capitol on January 6th. For example, one of those unindicted co-conspirators is someone government documents identify only as Person 2. According to those documents, Person 2 stayed in the same hotel room as a man called Thomas Caldwell, an insurrectionist, a man alleged to be a member of the group the Oath Keepers. Person 2 also, quote, stormed the barricades at the Capitol on January 6th alongside Thomas Caldwell. The government's indictments further indicate that Caldwell, who, by the way, is a 65-year-old man, yes, dangerous insurrectionist, was led to believe there would be a, quote, quick reaction force also participating on January 6th. That quick reaction force, Caldwell was told, would be led by someone called Person 3, who had a hotel room and an accomplice with him.
So Person 3, unidentified. Person 3 also, Tucker didn't get into this, but it's in the Revolver piece and the supporting documents that Revolver has. Person 3 also claimed to have a heavy weapons cache and was going to be on hand in case things got dicey to ferry. He was going to use a boat, and he was going to ferry the heavy weapons out there to the people who were insurrecting, who were rioting, who were doing whatever it was they were doing.
Via the Potomac?
I would say, I suppose so. So, Josh, you might say, I don't know about that. Really? They're all FBI people? I don't know either. But we've got another clip from Tucker that I want to run here in a second that I think is going to get you, if you're feeling skeptical now, may bring you on board. But first off, I want to talk to you guys about this. Brett, we'll start with you. Why in the world, if they know who person number 3 is, because they differentiated him from person number 2 and person number 15 and person number 20. So if they've got somebody, they know the identity, he had heavy weapons. He was going to bring heavy weapons to this thing. Yes. One of the damning, most confounding things that has happened to the left's narrative on this is, turns out none of these people were armed with guns.
Yes.
There were a couple people with bear spray, and then, of course, flagpoles. Flagpoles were weapons, according to the media on this. So the guy was going to bring heavy weapons in, yet he's not been indicted. He's not been identified. Mm-hmm. Why? Why in the world?
Oh, well, it's even more interesting, compounding what you just said, with the fact that on Twitter, Facebook, the government has launched a nationwide catch this person endeavor, in addition to doing a perp walk with every single person that was even just outside.
Anywhere near.
That man, the man with the Washington football team cap, there's no idea, like the framing, like this guy is the bad guy. So for them to come to me and say, well, we have some unnamed, unknowable folks here. That's total. Am I stupid? Do you think I'm that dumb, or do you think I'm that stupid? Like, which one is this?
That's how I feel. And it's, look, I get it. It's one thing if person 3 made a random phone call for one of the people they've identified. Okay, don't identify. No big deal here. Heavy weapons, Eric.
Yes.
Heavy weapons,
flagpoles and all.
Flagpoles and all. So when you talk about heavy weapons, I mean, I would presume these were going to be things like belt-fed suppression weapons, rocket launchers, that sort of thing.
100-round belts, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, this guy providing, yet he's not identified and the guy hasn't been indicted. Mm-hmm. Seriously, what do you make of that? What, just as the reasonable and responsibly skeptical journalist that you are, what do you make of that?
The interesting thing that I find is that especially when we see the bipartisan Senate report from last week, the examination of the U.S. Capitol attack, which clearly showed that the U.S. Capitol Police were aware that the insurrection was happening.
Yep.
And then you have these individuals that, as he so finally said, we have 484 people who have been publicly charged, and then unknown quantities kind of kept quiet.
Yep.
Why is that? The government can't wait to splash people's names on faces on
Walk
the
those
television.
perps.
Exactly.
Walk those perps.
But these people aren't. So now I'm not saying this is true. This is all speculation. This is all us taking a few facts and joining them together. But you can see the possibility that, and it would make sense from my perspective, right? The FBI would want people on the ground to kind of do what they could if it got bad. But then, maybe they got a little too, overzealous, in their activities and so forth, and now they're trying to reel them back in. It's interesting. The U.S. Capitol Police knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
They obviously, if they knew it was going to happen, they would probably put people on the ground, but not a word has been heard about that.
Not a word.
Yes.